And welcome to another edition of A Book and a Beverage. We are here tonight with the one and only Usman Zunnoor. Am I close?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Awesome. How are you doing tonight?
I'm great. This is exciting. Thanks for having me on, Mike and Ro.
I don't know how exciting it is, but we're glad you're here. Otherwise, we just
I'm excited.
Ourselves, so.
I'm excited. I'm always excited for these, so this is fun. Yeah.
And our favorite Canadian, I'm going to say, hopefully before Neitha gets on, is here. Although you're also Canadian, yes, Usman?
Yes, I am.
I just get in trouble.
That's all right. No, I like Tim too. It's all good.
That's what I do.
This show is skewing Great White North, I don't really understand. Where are you calling in from, Usman?
I'm in Vancouver, Canada.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So it's like what, like 4 o'clock?
4 o'clock, yep.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I saw that when you put 4 p.m. Pacific time. I was like, wait, I bet he's in Vancouver because I don't know any other cities on the West Coast.
I was going to say, yeah, your choices are pretty limited at that point.
Yeah.
So, how long have you had your channel? Channel's Bards and Books, in case, Tim, you didn't know it.
How long? I've had it just over a year now. I think I started January 2023.
Nice.
Yeah, so just over a year. It's been fun.
Yeah,
you're doing pretty well. Over 500 subscribers. That's nice.
Yeah, I've been on and off with posting and stuff, but it's trying to not take too long of a hiatus. So, yeah. Yes.
I'm going to. You got a very easy handle on YouTube there. We're going to put this up for you real quick.
So have you found that you're reading more now that you have a channel?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I tried before that. I mean, I was getting into reading. I read maybe before I started the channel, I read like 10 books that year in 2022. And then 2023 just took a huge leap. I think I read almost 40. So that's pretty significant.
You speed read them, or do you just kind of glance through them, or you actually reading every one of them?
No, I take my time with reading. I'm not a very quick reader because I like to take my time. I like to think about what I'm reading, think about themes and all these kind of other elements. I don't like speed reading. I like immersing myself in a story as much as I can,
But you must, I mean, the danger exists, I guess, if you're doing book reviews, that sometimes you're immersing yourself in something you'd rather not.
Yeah, you know what? For me, I'm not a big DNF guy. For some reason, I just don't really DNF much, especially coming from like a review standpoint. I want to be open, and I want to be able to give something a review, even if it is a little negative, some kind of constructive feedback. So I'm pretty open. I haven't found anything that I've wanted to DNF yet, but yeah, I don't know.
It's mostly indie stuff then?
I do. No, I'm a mix. I read a lot of traditional pub, a lot of indie stuff now. I mean, it was exciting for me because before I started a channel, I didn't even know about the indie, like self-pub indie community. And then it's like you have all these books you want to read, and then I joined BookTube and then realized there's self-pub and indie work, which is like the bottom of the iceberg. It's like there's so much more than you ever thought there was. So
and more every day.
Yeah.
Do you before you started this, were you like kind of locked into a particular genre?
Yes, I was all fantasy. And since I was a relatively new reader in a sense, like I hadn't had the opportunity to read for a long time, and then just a few years ago got back into it and accumulated this ginormous TBR of all this stuff that I wanted to read, which was almost all fantasy. So I was sticking to fantasy, but now starting a channel, I realized that the TBR is gonna grow and grow, and it'll just
Yeah.
I don't think if there will ever be a time where you'll be able to complete it. So I'm starting to branch out, reading more sci-fi, even read some nonfiction here and there, and I want to get into horror and some other stuff too. So I'm just starting to branch out.
Well, the indie world will provide all of that and more,
Yes.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of where I was going. Is have your taste at being able to kind of explore all these different areas. Have you found another genre that you kind of like and want to maybe take a little bit deeper peek at?
I think maybe sci-fi and horror. I wouldn't mind. Horror is a big one that I've come to discover and kind of want to take a peek at. So yeah, but fantasy is my main jam. I love fantasy, all kinds of fantasy.
So, are you on any particular Discord servers? Are you a moderator for any of them, or are you just kind of lurking like me, or what?
So I was lurking for a while, but a whole bunch of I guess class of 2023 booktubers came together, and I was one of them, and they decided to create a Discord server, and I said sure, I'll join in for that. So I do have my own Discord with a bunch of other people, Colin's Corner, Christopher Navo, Celebrity, StoryTube, a bunch of other creators on there too, but it's called the Unexpected Party Discord. So I'm a part of that, and I'm also a part of a whole bunch of other Discords as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Where do you find the time?
Man.
Any one of those things could be a full day occupation.
Yeah.
You still have to read the books,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I try to just prioritize like reading, the whole Discord and like the social media stuff. I just go on, whenever I have time. If I get like direct messages or something, I'll go on. But other than that, it's just here and there. I don't. I'm not on it a whole lot. I gotta make time for other stuff. I have a family. I got to, work and all that. So
yeah. You have a job on top of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And yeah.
I do. I'm a bus driver, public transport. There we go.
Okay, so not like school, because like a school bus driver, you'd have some time to have a book reading.
No, public transport. It gets pretty busy.
Yeah, right. You're always moving, doing that, certainly.
So I'm guessing in Canada they have a decent system, not like the U.S. public transport.
It's pretty decent here. Yeah, I don't know how it is in the U.S., but it's
terrible.
Here. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, it's good here.
We believe in everyone having their own car.
It's mostly theoretical in the United States.
Yeah, it's expanding a lot here, the public transit system. So it's nice.
So you said you have a family. Does your wife condone of this new hobby of yours for the last year?
She supports it for the most part. I mean, it gets a little hectic when when I just want to read. When I've been reading for days and I'm just immersed in a book and it's like 1,000-page tome, and I'm just like, oh, I just give me like a few more minutes, give me half an hour, But I make time for her. I make time for my family. I do.
So
good answer.
Tim says
Ottawa's the other question. What's that, Mike?
So Tim says Ottawa's not great, but more interesting, Bo has a question.
What's the craziest thing you've had to deal with at your, we're going to assume that's day job?
Yeah. Oh man, where do I start?
And then
public transit is something.
Some bad advice.
I mean, it's Vancouver, so I've got to think like you've dealt with a Canadiens fan or something like that, or some.
I keep a book with me at the we have our little section in the bus. I keep a book with me. If I'm stopped at a layover or whatever, read a few pages, do what I can. But it's not very easy with that kind of job.
I'm not going to let you go from this question, man.
Oh.
I'm curious. I want to know the answer.
Oh man, so many scenarios. Where do I start?
Just pick one.
There have been people. There was a guy who came in with a weapon, with a gun. Ready to see it. Really angry. Whole situation there. Call security.
We call that Tuesday here.
Yeah.
It was American, wasn't it? Usman, come on, you can tell us.
What?
It was American.
It was I don't know. I don't know. Maybe could have been. I have no clue. But the laws with the guns and stuff is pretty different here. That's a whole other topic.
Well, EL, you weren't here yesterday for our show, but we'll forgive you if you're traveling this time.
Yeah, I wasn't here yesterday either, EL. So Mike can just suck it if he doesn't. It's too bad.
Yes. Good afternoon, EL. Good to see you.
The rest of us have lives. So you haven't decided to dip your toe into actually writing yet, have you?
I have. I don't really speak about it, but it's something I've been working on for a few years now, and it's just on and off. I haven't, I got maybe 50K words that need to heavily be edited, but I do not so much lately, ever since especially starting this channel. Haven't had much time to, but I am planning to get back to it soon. It's just an on and off thing, and it's a very personal kind of fantasy story. It's got quest, adventure, maybe leaning towards the darker fantasy kind of stuff, but basically it. Yeah.
So can I give you my unsolicited advice?
Go ahead. Yeah.
What I wish I knew before I'd published. Do not be in a rush to publish, because as soon as you do, and if people hate it, then it's forgotten. Who cares? But if they like it, they're all going to be, where's the next one? Where's the next one? And then it's not just you enjoying it for writing. It's I'm on a deadline now. I have to push. So do not be in a rush. If you wait 6 months, who cares? I mean, it'll be out for the next 40 years. So do not rush in any way, shape, or form, because as soon as it's out, and if you get followers, they'll be like, where's the next one? And even if they're not, you're going to hear it in your head anyway, because you're hefty nuts to be a writer. So do not rush.
We are old men. We have to get them out while we can.
Well, I will heed that advice. I will.
No, but definitely write it, right? I mean, I'm sure you can find plenty of people who will take a look at the 50,000 you've got and give you some, their thoughts on where you can take that or how it's going, because getting really, especially good feedback, supportive feedback, which is what you will get, is, I think, really would help you, motivate you to get across the finish line on that first book. And once that's done, once you have that cover and have that book in your hands, you will want to write the second one. But to Mike's point, if you haven't ever published anything and you kind of get that one done and it's going to be a series of 3, try to do all 3 of them before you put out anything.
Or at least have a good start on book 2.
If for no other reason, by the time you get into book 3, you will sit there and go, oh, I should have done this in book 1. That would have really helped. And now you'd be able to go back and change that a little bit.
That's good. Yeah, I've been sort of pondering with that lately, so I will heed that advice. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You'll be the first to heed anything we've ever said. So we're not going to hold you to it.
So, and I just have to tell EL, who accuses me of banning him every show, is I've just learned how to do that here when I accidentally clicked on the little 3 dots. So now I actually know how to ban people or put people in timeout.
Oh, we can put people in timeout? How exciting. If we ever get more than 1 or 2 people, we'll maybe try that out just for fun.
I know. I mean, we can do it with EL because we know he'll just get on his phone and still text.
That's all right. So what's the when you started your channel?
Yep.
I guess the question becomes, why did you decide to do that? Because you said you've done it about a year ago, so it wasn't a COVID thing. What I'm assuming you were watching some other channels and kind of said, yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, that was a big part of it. So around COVID is when I really started to watch a lot more BookTube and discover, some booktubers that I enjoyed a lot. At the same time, I was getting back into reading, because of COVID, and it was reading was always see, I have a pretty hectic upbringing, so I enjoyed reading when I was a little kid. Unfortunately, it wasn't something I was able to pursue into my youth and as an adult, but just a few years ago I was able to pick it up again, and I've been just super into it ever since. So watching BookTube and gave me the motivation to kind of start my own channel, especially since I don't really have any like real life friends that read or anybody in my space that reads. So diving into this community was really great, and meeting so many new people. Yeah, that's basically how it started. I think one of the biggest inspirations for me, the channel that I liked was the Library of Alexandria. Alan.
Yeah.
So he was a big motivation for me to start.
How exciting was it for you as the first, couple 300 people kind of came on board? And what kind of folks do you have? Do you do live or do you do recorded?
Mainly recorded. I have a few live stuff. Like live stuff is something I'm still just starting, very brand new with. I think I did an author interview, my first one ever, a couple of weeks ago.
Carl Forshaw?
Carl Forshaw, yes.
Yeah.
So that was pretty fun. I'm thinking I'll do more of those and just more live stuff in general in the future. But yeah, mainly recorded is what I do. And reviews, mainly reviews and all kinds of other bookish stuff.
I see on your site there you have a 1-minute review.
Oh yeah.
You do those a lot?
No, that was just, it's weird because a lot of the content I put out, it's like just whatever becomes of it. So that 1-minute review, I filmed myself trying to review The Blade itself by Joe Abercrombie, and realized that I was just kind of saying the same stuff over and over again. So I'm like, let me just condense. I cut it down, and I'm like, okay, I do not have enough here for a full length thing. So let me just make it a short, and I'll just make it a 1-minute review. So that's just a little anomaly there.
Well, anomaly or not, I don't know how much you look at your page, but just kind of looking over the page, it's got like over 400 views.
Yeah.
Which is like 3 times as much as a lot of your average, probably.
Yeah.
So you can't fault the success of the 1-minute review.
That's true. That's true. And I've been told to, people like that. So I may continue it. I don't know how much of that has to do with the fact that it's The Blade itself by Joe Abercrombie, but I might do more of those.
So I have a little bit of a hot take. You could have done The Blade itself. The plot is, and thank you. That's all. Because there is no plot in that book, and it drives me nuts.
Yeah. I get that.
Is that your review of the book, Mike?
That is my review of the book.
Really?
And I mean, the characters, Glocta and Logan Nine Fingers, love the characters. I'm like, man, this is great. These 2 main characters. And then I read the second book, and I'm like, is there ever a point to this? I mean, he just sort of writes for a while. I'm like, okay, I hit my word count. I'm done. I'm like, wow, there's no plot. Oh my God. If you want to get me fired up.
That guy is never going to come on this show.
I've heard you speak about The Blade itself before, Mike, and I understand. I knew this was coming. That's all right.
Tim and I, we agree.
Yeah. The other thing is, I haven't really, I'm not really like business minded right now with my YouTube channel. I'm sort of just having fun with it, and not really looking to like, gain subscribers or that kind of thing. So maybe in the future I'll get more inclined to that, but right now I'm still just kind of having fun, putting stuff out there, meeting new people and just enjoying the ride. For now, that's just how it is.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I
Yeah.
think you're obviously, if you've got 500 people joining you, you're obviously adding something to the community and, a different voice, because if Mike was doing your job, he'd just be shitting all over people's books all the time. So
Yeah.
nobody needs that.
Mm-hmm. No.
Yeah, I never cared for Seinfeld either.
So you did look at a book called Sins and Sorrows once. What's up with druids? You like druids like people like dragons?
Pretty much, yeah. I like druids. I've always been inclined to those kind of characters. I like the more nature-minded characters, like in touch with nature or animals, beasts, that kind of thing. So druids have always resonated with me. When I played D&D, I played a druid that one time. So yeah, man. When I discovered your book, Becoming a Druid, I'm like, oh, I got to read that. So, and you were so kind to send me the books. Like everybody knows this. You're one of the kindest authors.
What?
So
everybody knows this?
You say that, but what I tell other authors, I'm like, look, you can just send them one book or you can send them the ebook. But if you send them like all 4 books, then they have 4 books sitting on their shelves like, oh, I really have to get those. And you're more likely to get your book read.
That's fair. Yeah.
So I mean, you can say all you want that I'm nice, but no, I'm trying to manipulate you.
Well, you do it in a very kind way. Appreciate that.
He's very self-serving.
Oh.
Yeah, I agree with Bo, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've got to. Writing is hard, right? I mean, I remember a very specific point. I think I was on book 3, and I pushed myself away from my keyboard and went, "This is freaking work," Yeah, right. Bo. Mike is nice until he reviews a book and tears it to shreds.
So I don't know if you've seen. Several times I've been like, in the past, before I was a writer, I'd be like, "There's a typo. I'm taking off a star on my review," and now I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm going to burn forever for that."
What? Oh, that's funny.
So I am much kind, and I will not write like a 2 or 1 star review now because
Mm-hmm.
So as a book reviewer and a booktuber, you get people like Mike sending you books now, yeah?
Yeah, occasionally I do. It's pretty rewarding, I guess. It's like, wow, I can't believe someone's taking the time to mail something, spend money to mail something to me all the way up here in Canada, especially because, if I was in the US, I think it would be a lot easier. I'd probably get a lot more, but up in Canada, the shipping cost, it is what it is. So people who do send me stuff, I'm very, very grateful for that. Mm-hmm.
Now, were you born in Canada?
I was born and raised in Canada. Yep, I was born in Toronto.
Let's get into this a little bit.
Okay.
Like, have you ever?
Oh no.
Have you ever been on a dog sled?
No.
You had to think about.
Oh no, maybe I can't remember. I don't think so. Maybe I have. Maybe when I was a kid. I think I might have.
Canadian thing ever.
I think I might have.
Have you ever done curling?
No.
Oh, okay. Help me out, Mike.
Hockey.
I played hockey. I'm not a.
I figured that had to be a yes.
Right.
Not very good, but I played it in the past. Yeah.
Have you made fun of Alaskans?
Made fun of Alaskans? No, I have not.
Oh, you should try it. It's great fun.
Oh,
it's not difficult.
Well, I don't know. I haven't really thought about. Why do you say that? Make fun of Alaskans?
No, because there's I lived there for a few years.
Okay.
Okay. You'd have to have a certain mentality to live in Alaska. I have a cousin who lives there, loves it. I'm glad people like living there.
Mm-hmm.
I really am. So I don't have to.
I see.
I know
I know one guy who, like a booktuber, who's I think he lives in Alaska. An erudite adventure. I think they live.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So it's
He
cool
lives
seeing
in
his
the North
outdoor
Pole.
videos. Yeah. Really, I think yeah. See, there you go. Tim's got it.
Hockey is.
Get like a lot of comments here. I think we.
I'm not going to do a hot take on hockey. You all can have the sport and enjoy it. That's fine.
Alaskans are like Canada's West Virginia cousins. I don't know if I'd go there. But somebody here, where to go?
And EL, we all answered this. He's a Vancouverite.
I am a Vancouverite. Born and raised in Toronto, and moved to Vancouver when I was 16. So, been here ever since.
Now, is that just because you can't find a way out?
No.
Sorry.
No,
I genuinely love Canada.
It's all good. I take no offense. No, it's just so I've gone through a lot of crazy family stuff. I've been through a lot, and it just worked out that I came to Vancouver when I was 16 for a better life for me, and yeah, in a sense, you could say it saved my life. It's been great here. I love Vancouver.
Stop talking like a
That's right. That's true. We're very close to the border here. We're very close to Seattle.
Well, isn't that like almost every Canadian?
Yeah, you are. I mean, like 90% of you are within like
all right, fair.
A good long run from
That's fair.
wherever else. Alicia, I want to get back to Alicia's comment on hockey is the greatest sport ever. Alicia, I would have agreed with that a few weeks ago. Well, kind of agreed with it. But I saw something on the TikTok machine where it was American football in Germany played on ice. And just watch it for a bit. Find it and watch it. And it's kind of amazing because people aren't running. They're kind of mincing, right? Because obviously you're on ice and shoes trying to run, but it's still tackle football. So it's like football and hockey together without the death knives on your feet.
Wow.
But otherwise, yes, hockey is a great sport.
And then Bo here hating on the area.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And Bo is out that way. Is it Montana, Bo? Is that where you're at? Wyoming? I mean, it's not like there's a difference between these states. North Dakota, South Dakota, it's all the same.
The big square ones.
Yeah, big empty space. But he's out there somewhere. It could be Canada. We don't know.
You guys whereabouts are you in the States?
We're in Virginia.
Virginia. Okay.
I'm in the Appalachians. I shouldn't really say much. I should probably just sit down and be quiet.
But Roe is originally from Vermont, so he's almost Canadian.
It's essentially I'm from Canada.
Vermont,
9 miles from the border, and it was Montreal. Everything, we got the CTV, and
but none of us are anywhere near Oklahoma. Unfortunately, only Britain.
Yes, Britain. What's up, Britain? Good to see you. Do you guys have a beverage? A book and a beverage?
Yeah, we should probably get to that.
I'll go get one.
So I have mine.
Okay. This is a dark Czech Republic beer.
Nice.
Yeah, very good. And this is the book I'm reading right now. I'm almost done. The Lonesome Crown by Brian Lee Durfee.
Nice.
Gonna wrap that up.
Got a Molson for you, eh?
Hey, nice.
So I'll tell you my book. We interviewed Brian. He writes horror, and his sister's name was Jamie. And growing up, he would always tell her about terrible things in the closet. So it actually became a book. So I told him I would read this 2 months ago. So I should probably get on that. And it's not very thick, so there's really no excuse other than I haven't. It's like 260 pages. So
And I am actually listening to a book, and Jacqueline, who we had on last week,
Jacqueline Hagan, yeah.
Hagan, I'm listening to the Wickwire books.
Nice.
They had a sale on the whole set on Chirp, the audiobooks. And so I downloaded them all, and I'm only like about 3 or 4 chapters in, but I'm digging it so far. It's good.
Yeah, I've heard it's good. I want to get to that one too.
She has a very nice turn of phrase, and really good kind of detail, right? I mean, some people might be turned off by the amount of detail, but I think it really works the way she's done it. So yeah, you're right, EL. It is, so far, it's an awesome book. I don't know. Mike would probably not like it. I don't know, because it doesn't seem like Mike likes anything.
Mike does not like a lot. I DNF a lot of books. So yeah, don't ask me about the SPIFBO finalists, how many books I've actually finished versus DNFing.
At least you bought them, so you know.
Yeah, I know. I buy them. So
if a million people want to buy my book and use them to hold up tables, I'm okay with that. You know, they can leave a review. This book does everything I was hoping it would do.
Awesome. I wish that they'd use mine to start fires with, because then they'd have to keep rebuying it.
Yeah, it's not very social, not very environmentally conscious of you there, Michael. We can aspire to be DNF'd by Mike. I got something to say about Mike that has an F in it too, but I won't go there.
Oh, the other thing, I do not read books that
Tim McKay likes big books and cannot lie.
I refuse to read books that are more than 500 pages. No, shorter stories, please. And I read fantasy, so you can see my conundrum. Half the fantasy books I'll never touch.
I see. I get that.
You have so many problems. I don't know where to start.
Are we talking about reading fantasy or in life? Because
across the board, man. You're just.
At least you're right. At least you write interesting stories, and I really enjoyed all 3 of the books that I've read so far. And I think I'm about a chapter into Desperate Dispatches too. So I'm enjoying the new characters. Very good work.
So
it is. I will say, and I'm not just saying that because Mike pays me to, which he doesn't. The short story collection of Desperate Dispatches is actually pretty interesting, and it adds a bit of depth to what you would normally get in a book, right? You just kind of get to see, oh, this is what's going on while all this other stuff is happening, you know? So it's pretty interesting. Dragon Bone Chair, Tad Williams. That's a fantastic book.
Nice. That
Birdie is reading. Birdie in the books.
So, Usman, I will tell you, when you get to the last story in Desperate Dispatches, I actually put Andrew, Wizard, and Nico are both in that book.
Oh, okay.
And Nico knew about it, and Andrew did not.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I'll keep that in mind. That's interesting.
So,
what do you have coming up on your channel? I mean, are you planning anything new for this year, or any kind of ideas of where you want to go with it?
Yeah, so I'm since getting a lot more into reading, I've discovered that my taste leans a lot towards the darker side of fantasy. So dark fantasy, grim dark, I like that kind of stuff too. That's just there's a lot to unpack there, but that's just what I've been leaning to. So I think I'm gonna talk more about grimdark books, dark fantasy stuff. Do a lot more reviews in that regard, and it seems to be a little bit of an up and coming thing as well, if you think about grimdark. So I will be getting to a lot more of that, but I'm talking dark, EL, like as dark as you can make it. Mainly fantasy. I am going to branch out sci-fi, horror, some other stuff, but that's just what I'm leaning towards. And I have committed myself to a lot of self-pub this year, so I want to keep that going as well. In the future, a lot more self-pub work I'll be getting to. It's a nice surprise that I've discovered since creating a channel and getting into reading. So I like to support authors, especially if they have really good work that's worth looking at. So that's what I'll be doing.
Yesterday, Mike had Michael Roberti on, who does some grimdark. Have you read any of his stuff?
No, I've checked. I've seen it around. It's on my list. I was gonna ask some questions, but I got to that chat late, and it was like 10 minutes before you guys wrapped up, and I'm like, oh. But I was gonna ask if it's if it's like.
He had said that it's. I asked. I was like, so it's not real all blood and gore. He goes, oh no, there's some blood and gore. So yeah, I don't know if it's everyone's horrible, but it seemed like there was a lot of violence.
Okay.
So I don't know where that puts you, if that's in your jam or not, but
it's good enough for me. Yeah.
And the man comes up with the best titles. So, the traitors we are, a grave for us all. Okay, there we go.
Okay.
And that's GRR, not, but.
Oh yeah, I was going to say Tolkien.
Oh.
Good to know. Grim is good dark. So I haven't even read Song of Ice and Fire yet. What is wrong with me?
Oh, don't get me started. If you have insomnia, it's a great book.
Which one's this?
Anything by G.R.R. Martin.
Right. His last book was exceptional. Oh no, he hasn't written that yet.
I know. It's on the list. I will make time for it. There's just so much. It's crazy how much there is. Come on, you guys should know this. There's so much to read.
That's one.
Do you think your channel will kind of skew that direction and you'll focus in on that, or do you think there'll be room for everything else as well?
Definitely room for everything else. As much as it may be a good idea in terms of a businessy aspect to kind of focus, have like a sort of your own kind of brand or like what people think of when they think of you.
Yeah.
I will keep it open. I'm going to keep it open to pretty much everything that interests me. It's not just the dark stuff that interests me, but that is where I'm leaning at the moment.
Hey, what if somebody sends you a romance?
Hey, you know what? I like to think I'm open-minded, so
how much romance is too much?
Nothing. Here's the thing. I like to keep my mind open to anything. I was just gifted the box set from my brother of A Court of Thorns and Roses because he bought the box set. He read the first book. He didn't enjoy it, and he passed it off to me. So, hey, if the mood strikes, Sarah J. Maas.
I was going to say you got Sarah J. Maas. Yeah.
Yeah.
So even if the preamble to it is, I never thought I'd have an opportunity to write a letter like this, but recently I had a situation where you're still down for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Pretty much. Yes.
That is a very eclectic. I commend you for being able to read. I mean, I guess I could give it a try, but I think my DNF would probably be larger than yours. And
well, I'd have to give it a try. I haven't even read any. I'm not gonna make up my mind unless I try it first. You can't say that about everything, but in terms of reading,
right?
Yeah.
It's just a book at the end of the day, right? It's just.
So, Ro.
Yes, sir.
We've had previous videos where you start talking about random bands that I've never heard of before. Do you listen to metal by any chance?
There's nothing on my playlist that's newer than 2001. Right? I mean, I will. There are a couple of new Canadian bands that I've been pointed toward, and I'll listen to them occasionally. Right? So I guess 2001 is an exaggeration. But yeah, if you were to ever see my Spotify top 10 or whatever, you would be like, Jesus, man, it's not 40 years ago anymore. Why?
Because we are interviewing a metalhead.
Yes.
Just to let you know.
Usman?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
What are you liking?
Oh, I didn't even mention. I forgot to mention. I do talk about metal on the channel as well. I do talk about some of my favorite bands or.
Well, let's get into it.
That.
What do you got?
You know, I feel like metal and fantasy go hand in hand. A lot of metalheads are super into fantasy. A lot of people who love fantasy are metalheads. I think.
And prog.
Yeah, yeah, they really go hand in hand. And some of the metal that I've talked about on my channel, if I always say like if you like fantasy, this is like the musical equivalent, like a fantasy sort of band, like metal band. So my favorite band of all time is Winter Sun. They're from Finland. Actually, most of the metal I listen to is European.
Scandinavian metal. Okay.
Yes. I think most, if not all, the metal I listen to is European. So, yeah, Finland. I don't know what it is about Finland. They produce some of the best metal on the planet. Like a lot of my favorite bands are from Finland. Sonata Arctica, that's a power metal band. I really like Sonata Arctica. Winter Sun is super hard to pinpoint in terms of their subgenre. They're a mixture of all kinds of metal. So I just say if you like fantasy, check out Winter Sun. They're very, very good band.
There are so many versions of metal, though. I mean, you have like metal, right, and heavy metal, and then you got thrash metal and death metal and
power metal,
like all that.
Yep, all kinds of metal.
See, I mean, I'll throw on an Iron Maiden tune every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'll be driving, I'll get in a mood in the car and, you know, turn on Run to the Hills or Number of the Beast or whatever it is. But not all that Scandinavian stuff. That's a bridge too far, man.
That's fair. That's fair. I started out with like Avenged Sevenfold.
So, Gateway Drug?
Okay. Yes.
Yep.
Yes. And branched out. I got really into power metal, which is, you know, all singing. So power metal is great. And from there, just got into the more melodic death and all kinds of crazier stuff. But yeah, there's a lot of good metal out there. And
back in the 80s, somebody gave me an album, and it was kind of one of those bands where the title of the song took you longer to say than the actual song. It was an LP, had 111 songs, right?
Oh.
And like 90 of them were on one side.
Wow.
It was ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous. And I do not remember the name of the band. They obviously weren't very good. But yeah, it was, I don't know. It's just kind of like, I don't think I could pop this in and just kind of listen to it while I'm having a beer. You know, maybe while I'm eating a mailbox or something, but not else.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, it's good for the gym. It's good motivation, you know, get you riled up.
Yeah. Okay. And your wife listen to this too?
No.
So this isn't a alone time thing for you.
Yes. This is.
Do you listen to it when you're driving at the bus?
No.
What I want is get on a bus and have the bus driver listening to freaking death metal.
If we were allowed to listen to music while we drive the bus, I totally would. Better yet, have like a radio system and let all the passengers hear. But no.
Oh, there goes Usman again.
There's Usman's bus, yeah.
Get some giant kicker speakers in the back of that thing, and your bus just be. Oh man.
Yeah.
So nothing else, just metal.
No. I listen to a lot of like rock, alternative rock, occasional EDM. I'm not huge on like techno or that kind of stuff. A lot of my friends are, but
yeah, EDM is one of those things you've got to be in a mood for that.
yes,
Yeah.
I have friends who just listen to that every day, all day. I'm like how can you be at a rave 24/7? But you know what? I listen to death metal, so who am I to complain?
EL's trying desperately to bring us back on track. And before I ask my next question, which has to deal with Star Trek, but that's all right. And so we'll let EL ask his question. What's the next thing you want to read?
The next thing I want to read, there's some self-pub stuff I have on the list. The Order of Light by W.D. Kilpack III is one. I read Crown Prince, which was his first book, and absolutely loved it. And then I want to get. I'm starting an arc by Michael R. Fletcher, which is The Storm Beneath the World. So Michael R. Fletcher is an author that people have recommended for me, especially liking grimdark and that kind of thing. So I want to check him out. Anna Smith Spark, I want to check out her work. There's a lot of stuff. I got a big pile. I want to read Tim's book as well, The Rise of Dreska. Even though he is planning on publishing it again with the BookTube, I want to kind of dip my toes in, see what I think about it so far, and maybe talk about it. So a lot of self-pub stuff on the horizon. That's what I'm prioritizing.
All right, Desert Island question for you. You can only take 5 books with you. What are you taking?
5 books. I'll probably take one of the first law books. Even Mike's like, oh God.
You need something to start a fire with. I get it.
Okay, fair. I'm taking Renia by Carl Forshaw. I really love that book. You know what? I am taking one of the Hybrid Helix books by J.C.M. Byrne.
Yep.
At least one. A Dungeon Crawler Carl book.
Yep.
That. I don't know. 5th one, I'd be open to a lot. We'll see. Maybe Discworld. Maybe a Discworld book.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Have you read any of the Fred the Vampire Accountant books?
No, I haven't. No.
Oh God, I forget his name. Hayes. It's not Rob Hayes. It's the other Drew Hayes, I think.
Hold on.
But what is it? The completely boring and uninteresting adventures of Fred the Vampire Accountant, or something.
Drew Hayes.
Drew Hayes. If you like the books that you were mentioning, they're lighter read. They're kind of funny. I mean, the premise is an accountant gets bit and becomes a vampire, and he's undead, and the only skills he has are accounting, and so he decides to be the accountant for all the other undead. And yeah, it just goes, and it's very light. It's easy to read. It's not a heavy read at all. Like, it's not like Malazan. And it's funny. I've read all 5 or 6 books that have been out. But
okay. Drew Hayes, I'll check that out.
And he also wrote NPCs is another series that I actually like from him. And the premise is the whole D&D party goes into a tavern, and they drink the beer and they all die. And the people in the tavern are like, the king summoned them. If they don't show up, he's going to kill everyone in the town. So they have to go and act like they're the adventurers. And you get a half orc who decides to be the magician or the wizard, and you get the mayor's daughter ends up being a barbarian, and it's just everybody is, and then they go on their own adventures. There's a gnome paladin. It's
awesome.
Yeah, it is. I like it's creative. I like just about everything by Drew Hayes.
Okay.
So, highly recommend him. But you need more on your TBR. So there you go.
Yeah, I'll check him out for sure. It sounds interesting.
So we asked the followers here what they would bring. And John Stevenson said the Bible's Grimm's complete fairy tales and the complete poetry of Anne Sexton. That's an interesting mix. EL's The Hobbit, the last argument of kings and the way of kings. I sense a theme.
Oh, and then
Duckett and Dyer and others. Oh no, he doesn't have a list. And the Lies of Loch Lamora, which brings him to 4, so he gets just executed automatically from the island.
well, we'll do him a favor and we'll get that last one and just throw that in the ocean because that's another one that hot button for Mike.
So it's a book that he can't actually read. It's just all waterlogged and the ink is run. He has it, but he can't read it. Okay, that's fair.
Because I also have hot takes on the Lies of Loch Lamora. But anyway.
Okay, go ahead, Mike. Knock yourself out. What do you got?
So I saw, actually, it was Farscape of all things. They did one of the episodes and yeah, we realized that the episode was really boring and everyone would just fall asleep. So we ended up cutting it up and doing, multiple. She had to keep going back in time and then forward. He goes, and they're like, this is the trick we use when it's boring. You just, change the timeline so you're never sure where the timeline is and you keep people's interest. And so ever since I heard that, I'm like, so anybody who does that and goes back and forth, immediately their story must be boring. And that's why they use this technique. And so this is a Mike thing. This is not a, that's what I have in my head. So when I start reading Lies of Loch Lamora, I'm like, oh God, he's jumping forward. I'm like, no, just do it chronologically. So
it depends on what you do, right? I mean, okay, Usman, you've read a lot of books, especially in the last year. Do you find that there are things that people can do well? I mean, that people try the same thing and some people pull it off and some people don't?
Yeah, absolutely. I think some people pull it off, better than others in a more unique way or just a way that resonates with you more. Yeah, I would say that. But yeah, it's also the reader. Each reader kind of perceives things in their own way as well. So it depends, but I could agree to that. Mm-hmm.
You find yourself as a reader getting a little bit, I mean, are you still just reading for pleasure, or as you're starting to also write, do you find yourself kind of reading more critically, right? And looking at how people are constructing a story and all that? Absolutely.
I, even since starting a channel, I've been a lot more critical with my reading. I've never really been one to read super casually. But definitely within the last year, I've been much more critical with my reading, trying to, give fair, honest reviews and kind of sound like I know what I'm talking about in this whole review sphere. So I definitely am critical with my reading. I don't really read just for the pure pleasure of it, even though I enjoy it. But, I want to, if I'm calling myself a reviewer, I want to be able to give fair, accurate, thoughtful reviews. And I try to be as objective as I can. Nobody can be completely objective, but I try to be as much as I can.
Far more so than Mike, which is a pretty low bar, admittedly.
Yeah, that's not hard. So the Mild Rumpus wants to know if you've read The Three Body Problem. And just so we all know, EL.
What's that about? It sounds super familiar.
It's a sci-fi. It's like it's a very highly regarded sci-fi book by a Chinese author. I think it was translated from to English. I think the author's name is Cixin Liu. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Wow.
But I've been told it's a very, very, very good sci-fi in the realm of like a lot of the greats. Like, I don't know, what, Dune, that kind of Foundation. I don't know, that kind of stuff.
And EL, to answer your question, start here.
All right. So any of the people who are with us today, if you want to read one of my books, I'll send you a token for the ebook. Send me, go on Twitter and DM me your email details and I'll send it to you.
Roy, I think I vaguely recalled that you were a writer, but
I'm vaguely a writer. That's what it is.
Okay, so you have books out. What have you written so far? How many?
It's all fantasy. My ninth one is coming out. I'm going to say soon.
He doesn't promote his books well at all.
No, I suck at it. I'm really bad. Thankfully, I have a decent job. And a new job. I got a new job last week. I'm a writer editor. That's my job, which is great. It's like the perfect job.
That's reassuring.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think reviews. I think it's good though when you get people like yourself, Usman, who are doing this, because you're just a regular person reading books, right? You're not like a PhD or whatever, so you don't get that kind of snobbery involved in it. But B, you've done it enough where you're going to have some value added to what you're saying simply because of the volume of stuff that you've read.
Yeah. Sure. There you go. Yale. Such a big supporter.
So, and then John wants to know what it is you're drinking.
Oh, so this is, I mentioned it earlier, it's a dark Czech Republic beer.
You live in Canada and you're drinking beer from the Czech Republic?
I found it somehow. It's called Kozel. That's what it's called.
All right, that's fair enough. Because as much as I like Molson, this isn't really great. But I bought a case of it, so I've got to get through it.
No, it's good. This is good.
So this will shock absolutely no one, but I have very strong feelings on beer. And I actually was talking to my boss who brews his own beer, and he's like, well, what about this? Like, no, hate it. And it came down to, he's like, so you like lagers? I'm like, isn't that just beer? And then, so he had to tell me what's the difference lagers versus other things. And so now I know I just get lagers, and this is my favorite of all beers so far. And he did tell me I would like Guinness, which I do not. It's all right, but I do like the darker beers in general.
Okay.
I know, Tim, I wouldn't be allowed in Canada.
They used to be, Molson used to brew this beer called Brador, which when we were 16, we would go to Canada and buy because they didn't care. And it was like a 5.2, and they stopped making it. They must have stopped making it in the 90s or something, because I went up and tried to get it, and people looked at me like, what the hell are you talking about? They haven't made that in forever, you know? But that was really good. Of course, you know, when you're 16, any beer is good.
And
Trappist.
to answer Tim's question here, I don't know what a Trappist beer is.
Nope.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. Trappist.
No idea.
I'd like to know, though.
Anybody ever had a Heady Topper? That was a very in beer a couple of years ago. It's brewed in Waterbury, Vermont.
Oh, I was going to say it sounds like something there's a medication for.
No, it's actually pretty good, but it was super hard to find for a while. Molson has that killer skunk taste. Yeah, well, you know, whatever.
Hey, Bo, I'm going to take Bo up on that if I ever make it down to South Dakota.
Cowboy Canada.
He only offers it to the people up north of him, you know.
So wait a minute, Bo. I mean, EL, if South Dakota is Cowboy Canada, what's North Dakota? Just like a really big buffer zone? It doesn't make sense. That's the problem. We have to wait. People to type. Anyway.
I knew I would laugh my ass off on this live. I knew it would be. Oh, man. I knew I'd be constantly laughing.
What do you got coming up on your channel, Usman?
So I want to talk about some more grimdark that I'm going to dive into, like I said. Frozen.
I've been to North Dakota. That ain't wrong.
Me too. But I was in the summer.
Yeah, just grimdark and self-pub. That's what I'm leaning towards right now. A lot more self-pub reviews to come. Grimdark stuff to dive into. I'll keep up with the music stuff now and again. That reminds me, Mike, I got to tell you. So I read your books, love the druids, love the darkness in there, the dark moments. But man, you allowed me to learn so much about some of the music that I listen to, some of the metal that I listen to that I didn't even know. I think I mentioned that in my review.
Yeah.
I listen to a lot of folk metal too. I love that stuff.
Folk metal?
Folk metal, yes.
I've never heard of that, but
That's
it's
a thing.
intriguing.
That's a big thing.
Okay.
Yes, folk metal. I love folk metal. And there's this one band called Vetier. You guys need to check this out. You'll like it. You'll like it. It's not screaming. It's not death metal
Spell it.
growls.
Yeah, you got to spell it.
So the band is Vetier, Eluveitie. And the song
My
that
God,
I think
there's
you
like
guys...
10 of them. It's like 8 people in this band.
Yes. But this band, they're like Celtic, very Celtic inspired, and actually some of their lyrics are in Gaulish, believe it or not. Yeah. So, reading your series helped me learn a lot about some of the names of these tracks from this band or some of the stuff they sing about. I appreciate that a lot. And
You did that on purpose, didn't you, Mike?
So I'm a chemist by trade, so I love to do research. So that's why the book, I was like, no, we're going to go crazy. And I even found the Proto-Celtic dictionary so I could rename the things in Proto-Celtic. Yeah, way too much that no one cares about except for me.
Hey, I appreciate it too. And I'm going to give you guys a song because I want you to have a good first impression of them. So the song by them is called Voveso in Mori. So Voveso space IN space MORI.
Okay.
I think you'll enjoy that.
Can you hear that?
No.
No? Never mind. We haven't progressed to being able to bring in extra sounds and stuff yet, I guess. Anyway. What are your thoughts on hillbilly hip hop?
I don't know what that is.
I don't either. So moving on.
But you know what? I actually grew up on rap and hip hop, believe it or not. In Toronto, that's what I grew up on. That's what I loved, rap and hip hop. And I came here, turned into a metalhead.
Well, all those Canadian hip hop artists so well known around the world.
So if anybody suffers from insomnia, Britton had to suffer through like 90 minutes of talking to me, and it's coming out Monday. So next week you should be able to sleep easily.
What are you talking about?
Some Okie dude. I was on his channel a couple weeks ago. Well, that episode is coming out Monday.
Oh, right. Okay.
Britton's Hangout Hour.
Right.
And yeah, I was anti-Mike. I was high. I will be as low key and not. Yeah, I don't know what was going on. I would say medication, but sadly not.
I told you about eating gummies before you go on podcast. Can't do that.
Everybody has ideas now. Try Outback by the Lax. And I want you to know I am writing these down. So if you're making things up, I will do a search at least.
No, he's not. I've got him on like 2 open tabs. It's all there. So. Hey, Usman, thank you very much for joining us.
Absolutely.
Thank your family for letting you join us and giving you the time. I know it's you got a lot going on.
No, I appreciate it.
That whole kid thing. My daughter's actually on the treadmill here. I don't know if you can hear that noise in the background, but have fun with the grim, dark, and metal, and
I will.
Try to go out in public and be around people and stuff because I worry about.
I'll try. I'm trying to do that more. I'll try.
He's a bus driver, Ro. He gets to see people every day.
But you don't want to be around those people because you know what they say. If you can't find the crazy person on the bus, it's you. Is that hold up in Canada? Is that true up there too?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, down here, it's absolutely true. If you can't spot the crazy person on the bus, you're it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's fair. No, I appreciate it. I appreciate coming on here. It's been a blast. You guys are awesome, and thank you. Anytime. It's been fun.
All right, we've got one more piece of business here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Somebody's
next. We're actually trying to get our shit together. As you see on the little scroller down there, next up on Bald and Balding will just be Bald. I won't be here. I will be at a Comic-Con. But he will have Dmitry Yakovsky, an artist from Poland, who is responsible for Mike's artwork for his books. So more self-promotion from Mike.
Nice.
Well
and I'll just tell you, Dmitry, he's won awards at various cities in Europe, and his artwork has been featured on a Nerd of the Rings, and he's been invited as a guest artist to Oxenmoot, which is the Tolkien Fest put on by the Tolkien family every September. So,
which means Mike is going to start paying significantly more for his artwork.
Yes, he is, unfortunately. But I'm trying to get as much in now as I can before that happens. But
on Monday at 7 p.m., it's just Mike and I. We are going to talk about God knows what. I have no idea.
It'll probably be a rant or two.
I'm sure we will talk about Voyager and rant about something. And I remind me, I do want to talk about this bad Christmas movie my daughter and I watched this last week. It was a parody of a Christmas movie. It's called, oh my God, let me think of it. Cup of Cheer, I think it's called. The first C-bomb was dropped like about 10 minutes in and about 2 minutes before the first F-bomb. If that tells you anything you want to know about this movie, go on Tubi, T-U-B-I, find Cup of Cheer. It has no redeeming social value. It's a complete parody of every stupid Christmas movie you've ever seen. It's fantastic. All right. Let's get out of here.
Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody. I will hit the end stream, and then sooner or later we'll actually end